We keep it moving on to the next result, and that was one that saw Mamelodi Sundowns just put TS Galaxy to the sword in a game where, once again they just showed that they don't have to make too many changes. They trust that squad. Musa Lebusa was the only change coming in for Tapolo Morena in this game, and he came into great effect, making the most of a set piece and the spilt shot to get onto the score sheet. Kelvin, the Sundowns machine, they're cruising, man. I mean, the coaches seem to be in harmony. It's still early days, and they've got this momentum with them. How important is it though to make sure that they keep up these performances? And as we've seen, I mean, we were speaking about Chiefs earlier. They were playing in the Champions League, and we saw how you can play out of your skin when you're playing in such competitions. How well placed Sundowns for the next round of CAF action, and obviously, what impact will that have on the quality of the performances from them moving forward when they've started so strongly already?
Depth. Sundowns has that in abundance, and already the integration and their preseason is giving us the fruits of the tree that they've planted. So I think moving to CAF, the only competition that is available for them to really show us, because at this point, it looks like the competition is lesser on the PSL. The depth that they have, the changes that they may make, whether they make one or two or three or four changes, it's still the same Sundowns that will come gun blazing with the coaches at the helm who are making sure that the tactics are well applied and executed. It is great to see that those coaches have been having problems of their own, but at the end of the day, they keep the players motivated and rooted in them and rooted in getting the result. Yes, you might still say that they are not the friendliest on each other on the bench, as when you see one will score when a player comes out, it looks like they go on one side, which is the coach that is standing. But at the end of the day, Sundowns is Sundowns with the personality and players that they have. We are not surprised where they are and how they play. Enterprising football, and teams will always have difficulty when it comes to Sundowns. Yes, TX Galaxy tried. They tried to play a defensive game, tried to hold Sundowns down, and break their consistent play. But it just went on the last minutes where lapse of concentration, the two goals were scored in a space of a minute, of 2 minutes. That shows that if you temper too much with Sundowns and they're really persistent and they work according to the instructions that they have, as they watch footages, your movement, how you're going to defend, your application of your system is very important. They watch, they pay attention to each and every detail to a club that they're going to play against, which as a result has given TX Galaxy that heavy score at the end of the day, because coach made a blunder. The goals that were scored, also there were three at the back, also caught facing their own goal post, and being scored on the far post with the oncoming Lebusa netting a beautiful goal first time in the box. You're asking yourself, why at this level are players goal watching? Because as the ball was being crossed, you could anticipate that there was a player that is coming late into the box. Anything that is in the box requires defenders to clear. I don't think that you can coach, but what you know and the instruction as a coach that you'll put is, as a defender, the most important thing is not to allow the ball to go inside the net. We can talk about zonal, we can talk about spacing and what your responsibility is to make sure that the ball does not go to the net. As much as a striker, he cannot be coached on many things than to put the ball at the back of the net. I think the synergy and the motivation of Sundowns and them giving us and showing us that they really want to collect everything that is available has shown within the pedigree and the personality they have.
Yeah, I mean, they bring a player in to start, he scores. Shadulile stays consistent, he scores. They bring in one of the new players, Greg, in Kutumela, he gets on the score sheet. So, you have this big squad with all these great pieces that you can work with. How do they keep them happy throughout the season? Or do you think as long as the team is winning, then the other players will buy in regardless?
Yeah, I mean, Sundowns is Sundowns. We always tip them in terms of when the season starts, because what they do, they always scout the best players before the season starts, and they know where and where the players going to fit in, and you can see the depth. Kutumela, I mean, that he will never pass to anyone getting that chance and coming into the second half. I just think it was a clinical goal from him. The good thing about Sundowns in every department, apart from a Yango, if it goes maybe for penalty, I think everyone can score from that team. So. It's a good vibe there. You either join the train now when the train is moving, or they leave you behind, because when the train is moving, you cannot really make too many changes. You just hope that once in a while you be in that big party, because that Sunday party, you are in, you are out. I mean, the team you always expected to win, and for now, I just think there's a lot of too much quality in that team. Any PSL team to compete with that team now, for me, on my own view now, I think it's only Orlando Pirates in terms of, giving them that push, but you never know, it's just the fourth game of the season. You never know how it's gonna pile up with the Champions League coming up. So when they start traveling down to playing the continental game, but nevertheless, the depth they have and everyone want to play. I said that by that time that's when we're gonna really judge them. But for now, what we're seeing now with them, I think they are unstoppable.
Can anybody stop them? I mean, that was my next question. As Greg says, unstoppable, Calvin. What do you think? Is there anyone, I mean, who can stop them? Can teams catch up? Stopping them is one thing, but like to make the gains that they have made as far as personnel, they've got some of the best minds on the bench. They got some of the best players on the pitch. How do you catch up to something that's been cooking for so long, and you're seeing something a long way ahead of what other clubs have been able to achieve so far?
I think stopping, yes, we can move away from it, but I think managing them, Sundowns are manageable. You look at the likes of PSG with the galaxy of stars that they have in comparison to Sundowns. You look at the two, and you look at the in the country Sundowns. Also, they can be managed in a way. It just takes players having to stick to the game plan tactically and know what Sundowns possess at the end of the day. Because Sundowns are a team that loves to play. Allow them to play in areas that they're not going to hurt you. Yes, they might be forcefully trying to build and opening you up, because Sundowns play a game of chess, patience. They move you from the left to right, try to open the center and then penetrate through. Most of their goals come through the middle. So what we're looking at this point, we're looking at the Sundowns that is very fluid on their play, very disciplined. Their tactical game is always frustrate teams not to have position. Keep it as much as you can. Make the other teams run. One of the opposite. If the opposition sleep, then they can always have that opening. They have all the tactical work planned out. When they know if a team sits back, where they're going to unlock a team on the wider areas by having an overload on the wider areas, having more players moving into that in that direction to have a free space on the other zone, meaning you play from one side and then you switch play. Then you have incoming players coming late into the box, with the likes of Shishi being the creator and the one that always stabilizes the midfield and make sure that the Jalis maintain the consistency of breaking down attack quickly, having a counter attack, making sure that they come back, and if they can't go forward, they don't force a move. They will always rebuild and let the team come up so they can find spaces behind.
Okay, let's welcome now, in terms of our panel, Velile Mnyandu joining us now live on the Zoom meeting. Good evening, Velile. We know you've had a long, hard day at work, so thank you so much for making time to join us on the subject of Mamelodi Sundowns. We're discussing, obviously you are literally on the ground as far as knowing what's happening with the clubs within our league. What next for these guys? Because we see a well-oiled machine at the weekend. I'm asking the guys if anyone can stop them. But from what you can ascertain from the mood at the club, from the mood with the coaches and the players, the trajectory is up. But what are their targets along the way? If as far as the club is concerned, their ambitions for the next 12 months or so.
Good evening, guys.
Good evening, good evening. Welcome. We're just missing a midfielder. We're missing a midfielder that can make that passes. So we are here now.
So you're missing a maestro. The maestro is finally here.
Pulling the strings.
Yeah. I'll be here spraying those passes. The old Dr. Kumalo, the late Shoes Mushwe, you know. Yeah, but I think very interesting topic that you are having on now, Sundowns. Actually, yesterday I tweeted and I said, these guys are ruthless, you know, because I had caught the first half and I felt, okay, maybe TS Galaxy can do something here, maybe steal a point. Hey, Sundowns. And I was coming back from work. And then when I got home, I think it was just the 50th, in fact, around the 60th minute. These guys, they're already leading 2-0. And I was like, this Sundowns team is ruthless, you know. But I think it is a continuation of the work because if you look at it, Sundowns, especially when you talk about Sundowns, you always compare Sundowns to Chiefs and Pirates. They have a more stable technical team compared to the other teams, you know. So it's for on their side, it's been more about continuity, also building a new team and modifying a team, by the way, because as you also seen that Sundowns is also going through a phase of refreshing the team. You've seen them cutting some of the old guard, some of them retiring, some being released. I mean, you look at what's going on now with Hlompo, you look at Mabunda, okay, didn't play last season. You look at Langerman, you know. So, and I wouldn't even say that they've found their rhythm yet fully, you know. And we saw this. I mean, if you remember the team of Pitso Mosimane, which won a treble, I mean, that team was not even on the second gear, you know. You know, if you look at that team, but they wanted to win a treble. So it tells you about this absolute dominance that this team is going through. Yes, as Mazola had asked in the press conference that we attended yesterday about the resources. Yes, the resources are part of it.
Make a difference, yeah.
Yes, but also still the resources
have to be managed right. Yeah,
the resources don't play football. You know what I mean? Somebody has to put together those resources because I will tell you about the team of Henry Michel. I will tell you about the team of Khabas. I will tell you about even before Niaskins. I think there was a coach even before Henry Michel. Those guys, they would be parading 14, 15 new signings every season and cream of the crop. But Sundowns still won nothing, you know? And even when those guys left, there were no structures, you know? But then came Pitso in 2012. Then he built the structures. And after building the structures, then there was the success. And if you look now, even after he's left, they are still more like operating on a similar model, because even the current technical team, with the exception of Coach Steve, they were there. You know what I mean? So as I've said here before, I feel that technically, Sundowns have got the structure that is a model of delivery.
Yeah,
you know, in modern football. And for me, as long as they've got the structure that they've got now, I don't see anyone taking over from them. You know, you know, and
for sure.
Yes, and even some of the clubs that are struggling now, they're still going to struggle because the model is wrong. You know, and I don't know how many times we've said this to say we cannot be in 2021, but you are still operating on a 90s model. It doesn't work. And you see, the difficult part with the modern way of doing things in football is that it doesn't want shortcuts. For
sure. You have to trust the process. Yeah, exactly. You have to trust the process. Yeah,
exactly. If you're doing this, you do it
to the end.
to the end. You know, to the end. Yes, maybe there are other areas that Sundowns is lacking in, and maybe those are some of the things they're trying to address now. But when it comes to the core business of the game, football, they're unmatched.
And who do you think is the closest to disrupting that, Velile?
I think when you look closely, you can say Pirates are close. They can, but I'm still not entirely convinced. You know, but you can say they've got some good elements,
right?
In them,
but not the whole package.
Yes. And also, even there, it will take having, and that's why for me, if I'm at Pirates, I would understand why Pirates can go with the two coaches that they have now, till the end of the season, because here are the two guys. Kamza is still there. So here, okay. So here are the two guys who have, in my opinion, their best place in the league, both of them, has been number 4. Fadlu at Maritzburg, Mandla Ncikazi last season at Golden Arrows.
Sure.
So if you are going to bring someone to be on top of them, who's that person? And what has that person done? You understand what I mean? You know? So rather continue with that process. But you know, sometimes when it comes out, we say every club has got its model.
Yeah.
Sundowns has got its model, and even the Sundowns model, in my opinion, also has got its flaws. But it's working currently. Here, local, you know, because they've got the best talent. You know? But where I feel that the Sundowns model then becomes problematic for us as the nation now, it's also robbing us as a nation of some players. You know what I mean? If you look at Grant Megaman, here's a boy who should have been at the Olympics.
Sure.
Cut out in the qualifiers to qualify the team for the Olympics, but he couldn't get game time. You know? And then you come to Ngobeni. I know it's still early in the season. It's still early in the season. But you come to Ngobeni, Swiss Ngobeni, and here's a boy who was also one of the leading left backs or left wing backs. But you don't even see him on the bench.
For sure.
You know? And if I'm Zimbabwe and I'm playing in the World Cup qualifiers, and I'm not getting some of my players who are overseas, at least I would say, in South Africa, I've got Divine Lunga. You understand? So that's just the tricky part about it, that it robs the talent, you know. So, and that's why I'm happy when I see a player like Kutumela comes on, and he scores. You know,
he takes his chance. Yeah, exactly.
Takes his chance. Yes. Because sometimes also we can blame the technical team for not selecting some players, but some players are selected and then they don't take the chance. You know.
Right.
So as I've said, every model has got its positives and negatives, but when it comes to Sundowns, we have to admit that currently theirs has got more positives than negatives.